Hey everyone, Sal here, and welcome to episode 1 of my RuneScape 3 Ironman progress. I just had an urge to play the game recently, and decided to jump on into it, and I've been having a blast so far. This is post-commentary. I've recorded quite a lot of clips in advance, not to have like a bulk backlog or anything, but because I had a lot of other stuff going on, and I don't have the greatest recording setup right now. You might even be able to hear it right now, that there's a little bit of fan noise or other background noise, and I won't really be able to fix that for a little while. So until I do, I'm most likely going to be doing post-commentary. So yeah, the purpose of the series is I haven't played the game in, at least not a lot, in maybe 4 or 5 years. Coming up on 6, yeah. And a lot has changed since then, so I wanted to get back into it. I know some of Oldschool's content creators, like a friend, are doing their rediscovery series, which I just found out recently. I haven't seen much of that, but just been going through the game myself and rediscovering things, doing a lot of quests, some old quests and new quests, and learning all the different new methods and things that have come out. I've dabbled in a little bit of most of them, but haven't really had the full extent of any of them because I've never been high enough level on a new account. I've started quite a few accounts in the past, and yeah, I've just been through a bit of the early game, new stuff anyways. Like, I've had a little bit of experience with player-owned farms, but I'm pretty much at or past that point now on the new account. So, the Ironman on screen, that is. So, yeah, it'll be... I've also done things like Metaphos. What's something else that's new? The mining and smithing rework. I did start a series on this channel with a main account back in May, I believe. That I only posted like 4 or 5 episodes of. I think I had 150 or 200 hours played. A lot of that was during double XP week. Oh great, somebody's car. So yeah, I ended up getting like some decently high levels in unlocking invention, but it didn't feel all too exciting to me. I mean, it was fun the time I played, but at the time I was more interested in my Ultimate Ironman on Oldschool, which has been most of my channel thus far. Lately I've been less excited to play that. Kind of hit a big grind and kind of lost momentum a little bit there, so I have decided to pick up RuneScape 3 again. I also chose an Ironman versus a main, or like going back to my old main, because I tend to enjoy the Ironman playstyle a bit more, the self-sufficiency mindset, and more than just old school, or RuneScape as a whole, rather. I've also played a lot of Path of Exile and tend to prefer the self-sufficiency modes there as well. Solo self-found is what it's called over there, but same deal. No trading or partying or interacting with people. Bit more strict than RS3, but kind of on par with old school. Well, more strict than old school, I guess, too, but closer. Anyways, about the actual content that's happening on screen. Guess I should probably talk about that. I tend to prefer to start my accounts with a lot of questing, which is pretty much the reason I started as a female instead of a male. And at the time of recording this voiceover, I have still been too lazy to do anything about that. Switch back to being male, that is, or I guess to being a male. I'll do that at some point, though, when I'm not too lazy to. Yeah, I tend to start all my accounts with a lot of questing. You'd think I'd be bored of it by now, considering how many accounts I've created and the fact that I start all of them with loads of questing. But I think the more I do quests, the more I tend to enjoy the questing, especially in the early game, because first of all, you get faster at them. You either remember or have otherwise gotten experience with them, so it's easier to go through them repeatedly. And Second of all, I tend to prefer doing things in a macro efficient way, and quests are very good at facilitating that because a lot of the early quests, people know this from Oldschool, and if you're not familiar with RS3, it's even more so. There are a lot of early game quests that give you big XP rewards or things that are otherwise helpful. For example, Waterfall Quest is the classic one, get you 30 attack and strength, and there are just a bunch of other quests as well and early game things that help you progress through the early game very quickly and into the mid game. And once you're kind of at the mid game and starting some skilling grinds, it's pretty easy to thrust yourself towards the late game in whatever direction you're wanting to take with your account or general progress. So that's the way I tend to prefer to do things. So the first few episodes will probably most likely be quest focused. It won't be entirely questing. I'm also trying to stick to things like dailies as much as I can and keep up on that for the same reason, macro efficiency. And I don't know. I've also done a lot of dailies at this point. I bought the Premier Club so I could unlock Jack of Trades. I have the second rank of it right now, and basically been doing a lot of that. Cathixian caches, Nemi Forest, which is on screen now, Menaphos, daily stuff like Obelisk, and Scarabs, Corrupted Scarabs? I almost said Tormented Scarabs. Guess I've got Tormented Demons on the mind. Because all of those are very helpful in some way, and I'm going through a lot of them on screen right now. And once again, the macro efficiency thing is pretty big for me. I don't push it to the extreme. I also don't really like micro efficiency where, for example, in Oldschool, you're doing like all sorts of tick manipulation, even though that's also, I guess, technically macro efficient because you're getting more XP over lesser periods of time. And so, yeah, it's just big picture efficient. Yeah, I don't tend to like that as much because I don't like playing that sweatily. I don't have anything against people that do, but I tend to prefer to have a more relaxed play style, especially RuneScape 3, where there's a lot more like AFK activities. There's also the fact that if I do want something more intensive, I can do like PVM stuff, which I'm excited to try in RS3 because I believe even after playing my Ultimate Ironman most of the year, I'm not anywhere close to like real PVM related stuff, which is another kind of demotivating factor. Although I don't dislike the skilling content in either game, really. I just haven't had a real chance to try out RuneScape 3's combat that much. I did play a lot and I ended up maxing in the Divination era. So I played a lot post DOC. But I never really did proper EOC combat. It was all like Revolution Slayer. And that was, I think, before, maybe it was before Revolution became like a big deal. But yeah, I never took time to properly learn the abilities or rotations or anything like that. So that is something I'm looking forward to at the endgame. And there's also like a new PVM hub that I haven't ever been to or experienced. So yeah, that'll be something new for me to try out as well. And hopefully once I get more into live commentary, I can react to this new stuff I'm experiencing live instead of post commentary where I just tell you my thoughts about them. Although I guess that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world either. Yeah, that was actually most of what I had to talk about. I will say, similarly to questing, I've gained an increased tolerance for dailies for some reason. I don't really know why that is. Maybe I was just really impatient slash... what's the word for it? I don't remember the word for it, but impatient, didn't have that much of an attention span, or... Nope, that's not it either. I have no idea where I'm going with this. I just have to keep talking because I've got a few minutes left in this video, as you might be able to tell. So, yeah, I think when I was playing when I was younger, 5 or 6 years ago, that is, I didn't like dailies as much because I didn't feel like they had that big of an impact. And since coming back to both Oldschool and RS3, I've realized the vast majority of my time in RS3 was just AFKing stuff for 5 minutes at a time while I did other stuff. And I think that's one of the eventual reasons I stopped playing as much. Because a lot of people in RS will have an AFK activity that they're doing for whatever reason, or have something that they're focusing on in RuneScape, and have something else on the side. And if you do too much of that, RuneScape becomes the thing that is on the side. And that's kind of what I realized, in that I basically only logged in to AFK stuff and do dailies. I think having some actual goals will help with that, because I kind of had some serious post-maxing syndrome before, and I ended up AFKing like 150 mil thieving XP at Prif Elves, which is kind of insane to think about now, because I don't think I did it for that long, which tells you how much I played per day. But anyways, yeah, I'm coming back with a fresh outlook, experiencing all the new stuff. Pretty exciting so far. And again, I've got a pretty decent backlog, so some of these earlier clips are from, it's probably a bad idea to date the video, but 11 days ago now, and it is currently Christmas Eve. So yeah, finally found the time to work through this backlog, get some videos uploaded, and hopefully move into live commentary as I get my setup at home in my little area I have here going a bit better, and set up for more live commentary. If anybody has any tips, by the way, or suggestions for me to do as an Ironman or in RS3 in general, I am completely open to them. I'm a complete noob at this game and don't know anything about combat or anything like that, so it'd be nice to have. Anyways, that's gonna wrap this one up here shortly. Hope you guys all enjoyed watching, and I'll see you around.